Dear learners, on the platform of MOOCs, I am Professor Nafis Ahmed Ansari from Department of Political Science of Aligarh Muslim University. In today's lecture, we are going to discuss the Lokayukta in states. The general public files complaints about corruption and maladministration with the state authority known as the Lokayukta. The purpose of this authority is to expedite the resolution of public complaints. The Scandinavian ombudsman is where the idea of Lok Ayukta originated. The Indian Parliament passed the Lokpal and Lok Ayukta Act 2013, also called the Lokpal Act, as an anti-corruption measure. December 22, 2011 saw the introduction of the bill in the Lok Sabha, and on December 27, 2011, the House passed the Lokpal and Lok Ayukta Bill 2011. On December 29, it was subsequently introduced in the Rajya Sabha. After certain modifications to the previous bill, it was approved by the Rajya Sabha on December 17, 2013, and the Lok Sabha the following day. On January 1, 2014, then President Pranab Mukherjee gave his approval, and on January 16, it went into effect. Context of the 2013 Lokpal and Lok Ayukta Act. Lakshmi Mal Sangvi, a parliamentarian, coined the term Lokpal for the first time in 1963. Discussions about the grievances redressal procedure. Under Morarji Desai, the Administrative Reforms Commission produced a report that suggested the establishment of the Lokpal and the Lok Ayukta as two special authorities responsible for addressing public complaints. With the passage of Maharashtra Lok Ayukta and Upa Lok Ayukta Act in 1971, Maharashtra became the first state in implement Lok Ayukta. The states of Andhra Pradesh, Arunachal Pradesh, Jammu and Kashmir, Manipal, Meghalaya, Mizoram, Nagaland, Sikkim, Tamil Nadu, and Tripura do not currently have Lok Ayuktas. In 1968, the Lok Sabha saw the introduction of Lokpal Bill. The 2010 draft was served as the basis of 2013 edition. The bill implements the Prevention of Corruption Act of 1988. Anna Hazare spearheaded massive anti-corruption rallies that rocked the country and proceeded the bill's passing. After the state passes the Lok Ayukta Act, Lok Ayukta comes into being, serving the government, state governments, and responding to citizens' complaints. The administration of the government, including those who work in the public sector, may be the target of accusations pertaining to their honesty and effectiveness. The complaints may also address any corruption that members of the government administration has experienced. A number of these states have already established the institution of Lok Ayukta well before the Lokpal and Lok Ayukta Act 2013 itself. It is important to remember that Maharashtra hosted the founding of the Lok Ayukta institutions in 1971. Even though Odisha approved an act in this regard in 1970, it wasn't until 1983 that it became effective. 20 states and 2 union territories, Delhi, Jammu and Kashmir, have created Lok Ayukta till date. The government appoints a well qualified and respected individual such as the Lok Ayukta to handle these important matters. Often this individual has been a chief justice or judges of the Supreme Court in the past. Once chosen, the government cannot remove or replace the Lok Ayukta. The Administrative Reforms Commission proposed the establishment of Lokpal at the federal level and Lok Ayukta at the state level in 1966. The state of Maharashtra passed the first Lokpal status in 1971. The Lok Ayukta has a set term and is required to carry out the assigned duties impartially and independently. The public can directly file complaints about corruption, nepotism, or administrative flaws with this Lok Ayukta. Any public servant engaged in such a corrupt practices may be the target of these accusations. Common people frequently criticize the Lok Ayukta for corrupt practices and poor administrations, positioning it as a state level jurisdiction. This jurisdiction is for the quicker resolution of public complaints. In Scandinavian countries, the ombudsman uncovers the concept of Lok Ayukta. The term Lok Ayukta come into force when the act of Lok Ayukta is spread throughout the country, works for the state governments, and names the grievances of the people who reside there. Some complaints target the administrators or the government's integrity and effectiveness, which includes those who work in the government sector. The criticism may center on corruption within the government's administration that affects common people. Lok Ayukta or Lokpal Act. The Lokpal and Lok Ayukta Act mandates the appointment of Lokpals at the national level and Lok Ayukta at the state level to investigate numerous corruption related issues involving a limited number of public officials. After the Anna movement, the state government modified the bill passed on the recommendations from the selection committee before it was passed by the Rajya Sabha. The parliament had a prior role in the bill in 2013. The act was first published in the central government's record on January 16, 2014. The functions and powers of Lok Ayukta. When we try to find out, we find that the selection committee of the Lok Ayukta is one of the several roles and authorities that make up the Lok Ayukta possessions of several assets in one of the Lok Ayukta's power. The Lokpal can issue directives to prevent the destructions of records during the initial stages of an investigation. In a rare instances, the Lok Ayukta inspections wing has been managed with the civil court of laws, authority and capabilities. The Lok Ayukta comprise those with the authority to recommend suspending or transferring civil servants who are connected to allegations of corruptions. When the government or another appropriate authority is unavailable, the Lok Ayukta may approve the public official discharge. There are certain key components of Lokpal and Lok Ayukta Act of 2013 to create an anti-corruption roadmap for the country at large. It aims establish the institution of Lokpal at the federal level and Lok Ayukta at the state levels. Prime Minister, ministers, member of parliaments, officer of group A, B, C and D and central government officials are under the purview of the Lokpal. A maximum 8 members, including 5 judges, comprise the Lokpal. The chairperson is in charge. The scheduled caste, scheduled tribes, OBCs, minorities, and women will comprise about half of the Lokpal membership. A selection committee comprising the Prime Minister is Speaker of the Lok Sabha, the Leader of the Opposition, Chief Justice of India, or a sitting Supreme Court judge nominated by the Chief Justice of India and an eminent individual nominated by the President of India will select the chairperson and member of Lokpal. The selection committee will receive assistance from a search committee during the selection processes. Additionally, the search committee's membership must consist of 50% women, minorities, OBCs, scheduled caste, and scheduled tribes. The Prime Minister is not subject to the Lokpal jurisdiction with certain subject matter exclusions and a designated procedure for addressing grievances lodged against them. All the categories of public officials, including government employees and officers in Group A, B, C, and D, shall fall under the jurisdiction of the Lokpal. In instances where it refers, Lokpal would have the authority to supervise and command any investigating body, including the CBI. The Prime Minister will preside over a high powered committee recommending the CBI director, and it establishes precise deadlines. It is there 3 months, renewable for an additional 3 months for preliminary inquiries. It is for 6 months, renewable for additional 6 months during the investigation. Special courts must be established to accomplish the trial's 1 year extension period. The Prevention of Corruption Act now carries a maximum sentence of 10 years instead of just 5. The Act's minimum sentences for Section 7, 8, 9, and 12 will now be 3 years, while Section 15, penalty for attempt, will now have a minimum sentence of 2 years. The Lokpal has jurisdiction over institutions that get full or partial funding from the government. However, institutions that receive government assistance are not included. All entities that receive donations from overseas sources that exceed rupees 10 lakhs annually in accordance with the Foreign Contribution Regulation Act fall under the purview of Lokpal. One of its provisions requires the state legislature to establish legislation mandating establishment of Lokayukta institutions within 365 days of the Act's commencement. Consequences of the Lokpal and Lokayukta Act of 23, when we try to trace, we find that Lokpal is unable to take action against any public official on its own. Its emphasis is placed more on the form than the content of complaints. Severe penalties for baseless and fabricated allegations against public officials may discourage people from filing complaints with the Lokpal. Anonymous complaints are not accepted. You cannot simply file a complaint on plain paper and place it in a box with supporting documents. Legal support to public employees who are target of a complaint, a 7-year statute of limitations on the filing complaints, and opaque processes for handling grievances against the Prime Minister. Important aspects of the structural changes in Lokayukta. Not every state has the same Lokayukta structure. While Himachal Pradesh, Bihar, and Uttar Pradesh have only created the Lokayukta, other states like Rajasthan, Karnataka, Andhra Pradesh, and Maharashtra have created both the Lokayukta and the Upalokayukta. Some states like Odisha and Punjab have appointed officers as Lokpals. This did not follow the ARC studies recommendations. As far as the nomination is concerned, the state governor appoints the Lokayukta and Upalokayukta. In most states, governor confers with the head of the positions. in the state legislature and Chief Justice of the State Supreme Court. Tenure. The Uttar Pradesh, Himachal Pradesh, Andhra Pradesh, Gujarat, Odisha, Karnataka and Andhra Pradesh have set forth judicial requirements for the Lokayukta. However, the state of Rajasthan, Maharashtra and Bihar do not have any set requirements. In most states, Lokayukta holds office for 5 years or until they become 65, whichever comes first. He is not qualified for promotion. The two unbiased and independent authorities tasked with looking into the actions and decisions of public servants are the Upa Lokayukta and Lokayukta. They have the same jurisdiction and qualifications as the High Court and Supreme Court. The only difference is their pay, which is the same for both CGI and Supreme Court judges. Their nominations come from the governor of the state. During the appointment process, the governor conferred with the chief minister of the state, the speaker, the chief justice of the relevant state high court, and the commander of the relevant opposition party in the legislative assembly of the respective state. The judicial system in Karnataka, Uttar Pradesh, Odisha, Andhra Pradesh, Gujarat and Himachal Pradesh recommend certain credential for the Lokayukta. However, Rajasthan, Bihar and Maharashtra do not recognize any particular success. In most states, the office of Lokayukta has a fixed tenure of 70 years or 5 years of age. Investigation is as far as concerned, in the majority of the state, Lokayukta can start an investigation suo motu or in a response to the citizen's complaint, but an unfair administrative actions about the unfair administrative actions only. However, he lacks the authority to launch independent inquiries in Assam, Himachal Pradesh and Uttar Pradesh. While concluding this chapter, we can say that people follow corruption and other crimes without question, so they thrive in society. The three pillars of the democracy, the legislative, executive and judicial branches should all be firmly, methodically flawless in their operations and free from corruptions. The Lokayukta was required to set up the nodal agency to get all corruption for the bureaucracy to operate within the purview of Lokayukta, which grants it the authority to conduct searches and seizures and the capacity to initiate multiple contempt proceedings. The numerous non-governmental organizations that the Indian government has started should come under the jurisdiction of Lokayukta. Thank you.